Hey everyone, my name is Wes, and welcome back to Terror Talk, where I discuss creepy clips online. Just to set up clear expectations, this is a commentary channel on scary stories and weird stuff. So, if commentaries are a thing, you're in the right place. The original horror music at the end of my videos was composed by me. Now, let's get into it and have some fun.
This happened in March of 2022 during spring break. I was in my second year of college. My friends and I, six of us total, decided to rent a cabin out in South Carolina for a few days, just to get away from everything. No school, no stress, no phones. It was supposed to be one of those quiet trips where you drink too much, play music too loud, and maybe make some memories you'll laugh about later. There were four of us guys: me, Matt, Chris, and Tyler, and two girls, Jess and Sarah. We'd all been close since freshman year. The cabin we picked was stupid cheap for its size. 2 stories, a wraparound porch, 2 bathrooms, and listed as being on private land near a lake. It was way out there, no towns for miles, surrounded by forest. The guy who owned it had a thick accent and seemed kind of off when we talked to him on the phone. All he said was, just don't go wandering too deep into the woods. Some old stuff back there. Wells, busted fences, snakes. You don't want to get turned around. We laughed about it, thought he was just trying to add some spooky southern charm to the trip. But when we got there, it wasn't funny. The drive took forever. GPS gave out an hour before we arrived. The last part of the road was just dirt and gravel.
Do you have any spooky story experiences where it's way out in the country or wilderness or whatever you want to call it? I think it's kind of weird that the guy that they were talking to warned them about that kind of thing. Don't you think that feels off a little bit? And the whole, six group friend kind of thing out in the middle of the wilderness, again, it feels exactly like the start of a horror film, doesn't it? I've seen many a horror film where a group of six young people go out to a place in the middle of nowhere and then weird things start to happen. I've seen many a horror film like that. So definitely a lot of potential for this story.
Barely wide enough for one car. Trees got thicker the closer we got. When we finally saw the cabin, we all kind of went quiet. It didn't look like the pictures. It was older and dirtier. The windows were dusty, and a few of the shutters were hanging off by the hinges. There was this faint smell outside, like old garbage and wet wood. We brushed it off and made jokes, said it just added character. We unloaded, claimed rooms, and started drinking by 7 p.m. The first night was fun. We grilled outside, cranked music from a Bluetooth speaker, and played some card games. By 11, it got cold, so we moved inside. That's when I noticed how dark the woods were. I don't mean just nighttime dark, I mean complete blackness. The porch lights barely lit up more than a few feet, and the trees were so dense it felt like they were pressing in from all sides. No bugs, no wind, just total, heavy silence. We ended up crashing around 2 a.m. I had one of the rooms on the ground floor, right next to the kitchen. Small and just a bed and a window facing the woods. At around 4:15, I woke up. No reason, just wide awake like someone had poked me. I laid there for a second, heart beating fast. Then I heard it. Tap, tap, tap. I thought it was the heater at first, but then it repeated. Steady, non-metallic, non-mechanical. It sounded like fingers. I looked at the window, and there was a man standing there. He was pressed up against the glass, face almost touching it. Pale skin, wild hair, no shirt, just staring in. His mouth hung slightly open, like he was breathing through it. His eyes were wide. He didn't blink. He didn't move. He just stood there and tapped, soft and slow, like he was trying to tease me. I felt like my body locked up. Then the tapping got a little faster.
How terrifying would that be to realize that there is someone standing right outside the window tapping like that? And this is a lot like the previous story that I did, isn't it? Someone standing out there and tapping, but maybe it happens a lot more than I'm aware of. I really don't know because I think that when you have intruders that are trying to get into the house, I think they really like screwing with people like this. They like to go around go around to different places of the house, tap on the glass, that sort of thing. And it really is a terrifying thing to experience, and I hope I never get to experience that because yeah, it would be awful. And I'm starting to think that maybe it just happens a lot more than I'm aware of. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Do you know anyone that has had this kind of thing happen to them, or has it happened to you? Let me know.
I whispered for Matt, who was sleeping on the couch outside my room. I said his name again, louder. He woke up groggy and asked what I wanted. I just pointed. He looked over, saw the man, and immediately jumped up, knocking over the coffee table. That must have scared the guy off, because by the time Matt turned the porch light on and ran outside, he was gone. We all got up. The girls were terrified. Tyler tried to convince everyone it was just some drunk local messing with us. Chris said maybe it was a hunter who got lost, but I knew it was that guy watching me. He wasn't lost. We blocked the doors, moved the couch in front of the big living room window, and took turns staying awake for a few hours. Nothing else happened that night. The next morning, we went outside. There were footprints, bare human footprints circling the entire cabin. They stopped at every window, every single one, even the little one above the upstairs shower. That should have been it. We should have left, but we didn't. We were dumb and stubborn. We stayed.
Yeah, I also feel that this is out of a horror film too. That if you find this kind of evidence around your house and everyone decides to still stay, that's right out of a horror film also, isn't it? Like, I swear, some of these stories do feel like they could actually be turned into a movie, right? Because what would you do? Would you have stayed at this point or would you have gotten the hell out? Because I think for me, I would have left the very next morning. Like, I'm not gonna stay around if some psycho is completely stalking the house with a knife. Or did they say they had a knife? I can't remember, but yeah, they all seem to have a knife in these stories. I just can't remember, but either way, I would have gotten the hell out of there as soon as possible.
Night two started the same. Drinks, music, fire pit, but the energy was different. Everyone kept glancing at the woods. Jess didn't drink, and Chris kept his hunting knife on his belt. When we finally went inside, we locked every window and double-checked the doors. Around 3:30 a.m., Matt went to the kitchen for water. He stopped in the hallway and called my name. I got up and saw him standing there, pointing. There was someone in the kitchen, the man from before, but this time he was inside, naked. His back was to us, covered in long, raw-looking scratches. He was standing in front of the fridge, staring at it like he didn't know what it was. He made this slow, swaying motion like he was rocking on his feet. Matt didn't speak. He just backed up. We all gathered silently at the hallway entrance. I had a pocket knife. Sarah had the fire poker. Chris grabbed one of the chair legs he'd snapped earlier, trying to be funny. We turned on the light. The man was gone. The back door was wide open, but it wasn't broken. It wasn't forced. It was just open. We left 20 minutes later. No one argued. We packed only the basics, wallets, keys, phones, and drove through the woods until we had enough signal to call the sheriff. When we met the deputy at a diner off the highway, he didn't look surprised at all. He asked if anyone was hurt, then said, "Yeah, we've had some trouble with folks squatting up in those woods, not always right in the head." We tried to explain it wasn't just some homeless guy. This man watched us, came back 2 nights in a row, and had a key or somehow got inside. The deputy just nodded like he'd heard it before. When we mentioned the owner, his face almost implied that he knew the guy. The listing disappeared a few days later, completely wiped from every rental site. We never got answers, never got a call. We never even got our deposit back. But that face, the way he looked at me through the window, I still see it sometimes when I wake up at night. We don't talk about that trip much anymore, but as far as I know, none of us have been back to South Carolina since.
Yeah, isn't it crazy when the intruder actually gets inside your house? And honestly, that's the first that I've ever heard a story like this on Mr. Nightmare's channel or any other channel really, that the person is actually naked when they break in. And I feel like that's a sign of mental illness more than anything. And while a lot of these intruders are probably mentally ill, this kind of, I don't know, this kind of like hits home a little bit differently for me for some reason with this story, because being completely naked like that, you know something is definitely wrong. And you can't help but to feel a little sorry for the person if they are truly suffering from mental illness. It doesn't excuse what they're doing, but it does kind of make you feel for them in a way. And I thought this was a really good, creepy story, and like, it seems like the cop knew something was up. And yeah, this whole thing just kind of feels like right out of a horror film. I know I keep saying that, but it's so true. And isn't it odd that the cop wasn't surprised by it, like, at all? And good thing that the listing was taken down a little bit later, because a listing like that shouldn't be up if these people's lives could potentially be in danger. So definitely a really cool story, and I hope you enjoy my commentary and the music, and I will see you in the next video.